This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I'm Dar. What's up?
Hey. Oh, yeah, just really happy days, happy days. How are you today?
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic. Well,
it's a great day.
The deep freeze continues. It's 20 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 8 Celsius.
That's a heat wave.
Yeah, we're having a heat wave.
Well,
Absolutely.
It was in the teens all last week, so this is a true heat wave.
Yeah, like I said, this reminds me of the winters when I was a kid, and I'm sick of it. I was just thinking I had to go out and run an errand. I was coming back to the studio, as it were, and I was thinking, man, now I realize why people move down south. But then again,
nope.
Sunday it was 17 degrees in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah, so... You know what's sad about that too now, all the orange crops, strawberries, like all the, the different fruits are going to be affected. So that's going to affect, the entire nation and purchasing those things. It's sad. And frankly, those people just aren't used to
Well, not only are they not used to it, they're not equipped. I mean, maybe some people don't even have heat in their homes, so their pipes would freeze and all these horrible things.
Yeah.
So as much as, us up north have it tough to an extent, and that doesn't even speak to our friends up in Canada who have it much colder, but we're kind of prepped for it. You know what I'm saying? But these poor people down south, it's kind of like, hey, that wasn't part of the deal, so.
I think I can handle the cold. Usually cold, now I sound like Frozen. The cold doesn't bother me anyway. The cold doesn't bother me. The snow bothers me. Like I can deal with a little bit of snow for a while, and then it needs to melt and go away. And I don't care if it still stays cold.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll just put my heavy, my heavy sweatshirt on, my hoodies. I wrap in blankets. I'm good. I can't stand the snow. It needs to go away now, except now we're going to get probably another 1 to 3 Friday.
True.
So
I want to get to our first story, but first I want to do this. I'm going to start doing this more prominently in each and every show. Please join our Plus Club. We've changed the whole way we're doing ads. For example, on the Campfire and Paranormal podcast, if you're a Plus member, you no longer hear ads on the new episodes, and we're bringing back all those old episodes and taking the ads out and enhancing them. But we need your help because we've changed the way we're doing ads this year, and it's really cut down on ad revenue. Now, that you may say that's not your problem if you're watching or listening, and it's not. But if you want these shows to continue and you want to support them, we need your help. Please join the Plus Club. There's so much there. I won't go over it again and again and again. Just asking you, check it out. Please check it out at jimharold.com/plus, jimharold.com/plus. We would appreciate your support.
But Jim did listen to your feedback, and you are not touching the interview shows.
The 2 new interviews that we do every week for Plus, we are not touching those. So,
and
we ask for feedback.
We are introducing something else, right?
Yeah, March 4th. Yeah, March 4th, we're going to have an AMA. What's okay?
Oh, I'm saying we're adding another behind the scenes every month.
Yeah, I just didn't know which Plus thing you were referring to. But in this case, March 4th, we're going to be doing an AMA for Plus members. We'll get the information out to you. Probably the easiest way to do it is just mention it in the shows. So keep listening. We're going to be adding that into some of the Plus shows.
To the Plus shows.
Yes.
Listen to the Plus shows to get that information.
Yeah, you have to be a Plus member.
Because that's a special benefit for you guys who do support. And we want you just to have that. So AMA, in case you don't know, Ask Me Anything. So you can ask Jim within reason.
Yeah, and you. We're both going to be on this.
If you're all that interested. But yeah. So
that'll be
special
fun.
Benefit for Plus.
And also, we're upping the behind the scenes to twice a month. That's where Dar and I talk about just life and what's going on. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. jimharold.com/plus, jimharold.com/plus. And we'd like to have as many Plus Club members as we possibly could by July, Dar, because guess what's coming? According to one UK filmmaker.
I'll believe this when I see it.
Total disclosure, apparently, according to, let's see, what is his name again? Mark Christopher Lee. He's known for documentaries exploring UFO history, including the Rendlesham forest incident, which is known as British Roswell. Well, apparently, he says on July 8th, 2026, the anniversary of the Roswell incident, President Trump is going to spill the beans. He is set to reveal aliens exist in historic speech. And this is from ibtimes.co.uk. We'll have the link in the show notes. And yes, he said that it has been leaked that President Trump is going to say that there has been a multi-decade cover-up, starting with the Roswell incident. You know, that initial press release came out saying a flying disc crashed, and then all of a sudden, the next day it changed, and it was just a weather balloon. So, yeah. And I do believe this. If somebody were going to do it, I think Trump is enough of a loose cannon that he would do it, but I don't think he's going to do it. What say you?
He's not going to do this. Also, I think other people have brought up the point. How is this Mark Christopher Lee, whatever his name is. Sorry. How did he get notice of this?
Yeah.
Why is he the chosen one?
Why would he find out rather than somebody like Ross Coulthart or George Knapp?
Or maybe somebody that, Trump is kind of close with, or, he trusts
somebody
lot more.
Somebody Fox News
he doesn't know
or something.
This guy, really? Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know. That's my ruminations.
Somebody in the administration leaked it. So in this version of events.
But why
Trump,
to him? I don't know.
Trump would allegedly confirm that the initial press release was true and that the retraction marked the start of a long-running cover-up. So I will say this, like I said, and it does seem like there's a quickening of sorts. I mean, we just saw last night, and we don't have the story on this, but Burleson, Representative Burleson is making noises about that UFO, that large UFO that is hidden away somewhere that Ross Coulthart talked about. And Burleson is looking into it further. So it seems like there's a little bit of a quickening. I just don't think it's going to poke through. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will. Maybe this will be the time it's different. But, decades of seeing nothing happen leads you to believe you're going to see more decades of nothing happening. So we'll have to stay tuned.
I don't think it's happening. Also, I think there's a lot more pressing things going on right now in the world that might need attention. Well, you're thinking he would change that up. Do you think anyone's going to believe him when he says that anyway?
Well, that's a good point. But here's what I was going to say here's what I'm going to say is that really, are there more important things? If there's actually aliens, isn't that the most important thing? Them rather than the interest
Depends
rate?
on who you talk to.
Yeah. I mean, maybe,
some people are worried about how they're paying their gas bill.
Right. But I mean,
and I put that in my poll too.
Writ large.
No, I know. I understand. And we're, this stuff is near and dear to us because, we believe you do all your shows based on this. But I mean, if you think about it, the common person may not care. One, they may not believe it. So they'll just poo-poo it. Oh, he's a crazy man. I'm not listening to anything this man says. I never do. Boo, boo, boo. So I don't know. And then what does that start off? We've talked about this in the past. Financially, how does that, the financial markets, how do those get affected by him saying that? Does he really want to do that?
I think it would.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think there's a lot of factors involved, and I just don't believe that's coming this July. Just my 2 cents. But hey, we'll hold out and see, right?
Well, I think it would impact the financial markets, yes. But I also think you said something there that's very observant. I think that it coming from Trump will meet with more skepticism than with other presidents, because and again, I don't want to get political, but it's a little bit of the boy who cried wolf, because Trump will make some pretty wild claims. And then he'll say something that's true, but the thing that he says is true is not believed because he's made these other wild claims. You see what I'm saying? So don't want to get political here, but I've seen it happen where he says something that's objectively true, but then he'll come out with something that is, for lack of a better term, wacky ass. So,
no, I don't
know. I've said enough. I've said too much.
You said too much. What's that song? I've said too much. No, I don't know how that goes. I can't sing. So there you go. Well, moving along. Let's get off that.
All right. Well, there's another big UFO case that has gotten the attention of Capitol Hill. Tell us all about it, Dar.
Well, yeah, like we've talked about this in a previous episode, the big press conference that was done. I think Fox Nation, News Nation Now was the only one to cover it. It was that Varginha incident from Brazil, right? That happened like 30 years ago, and they had this big press conference. What we didn't know, and this comes from the debrief.org, we did not know that 5 days before that conference, there was a closed door meeting with 3 members of Congress and the group of Brazilians that say they witnessed the crash. So it was a private Washington meeting. Apparently, they debrief said they were the only media access to this. And then they had the public press conference. So in the meeting were the respected neurosurgeon, the forensic pathologist, a geography teacher. They were all brought here by James Fox because he had done that film Moment of Contact documentary. Yes. So it was very interesting because it was, I want to give you the great people who were in there. So it was held in Tim Burchett's office, first of all, and it had Anna Paulina Luna from Florida and Eric Burleson. He was there as well. 2 Democrats, Jared Moskowitz of Florida and Andre Carson of Indiana, were invited, but they weren't able to attend. But I think they were briefed on it afterwards. And, Luna asked the neurosurgeon, Dr. Venturelli, he said, okay, take it from the top. Who brought the being in? She wanted details about the interaction and how, like, from point A to point B. She was very, Burchett wanted to know if you were able to communicate in any way. So they were really trying to get to the bottom of what happened all the way back then. And if you read the article, it's very well done. You get a little bit more, they said they don't feel like they communicated telepathically, but empathetically through its eyes.
Yeah, because I had read the doctor said something along the lines, he felt that the being knew he was trying to help him, that he was trying to help the injured being, and he appreciated it.
There were three girls, young teenagers, that also saw something, and they talk about that in this article and how they felt they were scared, but yet when they saw this being, they were scared, but yet they felt like it was just asking for help. It was hurt. So it was just very, very interesting. So they had a closed door meeting. I don't know what was going to come of this. After, I guess during the news conference, there was a break, and there was a Senate member from Brazil who was there who had spoke, Girardo, I think, probably butchering his name. I'm sorry. But he spoke with Burleson during the break, and, Burleson had gotten up at 4 a.m. to fly there so he could be part of that news conference. And Burleson just asked Girardo, he said, is there any evidence that you can show us? We need material, physical evidence. And Girardo said he's going to try to get it to them. So that's kind of where we at. I just thought it was kind of interesting that there was a private meeting and nobody really knew about it.
Yeah,
so
it is interesting, and all of these Congress people getting involved and so forth, it gets curiouser and curiouser. And like I said, I think there's a little bit of a quickening. Now, will it be enough to punch through? I still have my doubts, but certainly things are happening. Things are happening. So we'll see what happens.
There you go.
Well, Loch Ness, fascinating. Now, this is more along the lines of not a discovery of the creature.
Oh, wow. We're skipping everything. Okay.
Okay. Well, what are we skipping? Well, you're
supposed to be talking about where aliens are hiding.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll do that
You've
then.
skipped like
Okay.
4 stories.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes, this is true. Now let me pull up the story. So basically the idea is there's this exoplanet and it is a long way away. And I will tell you momentarily how far away it is as I pull up the story awkwardly. And this is from the dailymail.co.uk. And the essence is there's an exoplanet 146 light years away. And it's remarkably similar to Earth, and it could be habitable. Try to say that word 10 times over. It's called HD 137010b, and it may be in that zone where life could live, and there could be liquid water on its surface and a suitable atmosphere for life. They said, though, any potential aliens who might live there might have to be well-suited for cold weather. They'd fit right in this winter. They said that the planetary surface temperature is no higher than minus 90 Fahrenheit, minus 68 Celsius. And it sounds pretty similar to the surface temperature on Mars. But the point is that my thought process is, do we really know what form of life there is if it's elsewhere? I mean, a mere 90 degrees difference or 100 degrees difference or 200 degrees different than what we're used to, that's probably very small on the big scale of things. And there could be a creature or creatures that could adapt to that very well and have no problem with it. So, and again, that's where I think we fall short. I mean, we think the old thing they used to always say, well, there isn't life anywhere else visiting here because the distances are too vast. Yes, they're too vast, assuming our science and our propulsion and the ways that we work. But are these people able to teleport or go through wormholes, or people or whatever they are? Are they able to transport in a way and bend space and time in ways that we can't even think of? Because, in 1400, the distances were too vast to go across the Atlantic Ocean easily. But now you can go in 2 hours in a plane, or however many hours, I don't know, 5 hours or whatever it is.
8, whatever.
Well, if you had the old Concorde, you could go much faster. But the point being that we were like putting our template on their technology. And if they are out there somewhere, they may have technology that we can't even imagine. And they talk about that in some of the different UFO sightings lately. The idea, and I think I saw Hal Puthoff talking about this, the great scientist who does a lot of UFO work, that these craft might be traveling in some kind of bubble. And within the bubble, time and space are different. So they're able to go at these insane speeds that we can't even comprehend. So to me, the distance is, it's academic because we don't know what technology they have. So they could be as far away as you can imagine. They may still exist. That doesn't mean they don't exist. Or that doesn't even mean they haven't been here in some form. Anyway, just my thought.
Well, again, this is what I always say. How presumptuous are we that we think we know everything? You don't know. We don't know what's out there. We don't. And like you said, we might have limitations of technology, limitations of, first of all, knowledge. We just don't have
I don't even know
information.
I don't even know what story we're on. So, I mean, how are we going to know if there's aliens?
How can they just, some of these scientists, well, there's nothing else out there. How do you know? You don't know. You don't know. Back then, they thought the world was flat. I mean, they didn't know. You guys don't know everything either. It will become apparent in time, but right now you don't know. So, yeah, in the fullness of time. So, I don't know. Just,
yes.
I get very angry with scientists who are so close-minded that they can't even begin to just maybe imagine that there might be something there. Maybe you can't prove it. I'm not saying do science experiments because you don't have the technology or the, equipment or whatever to figure that out, but don't close your mind off to it. I don't think it's all that unheard of that out of our galaxy and beyond that we don't even know what's out there, that there might be life. How do we know? We don't know what we don't know.
Well, I just want to tease a story. Make sure you stay to the end of the show because we have a story that we really want to get to the bottom of.
Jim really wants to get to the bottom at the end.
It, the end of the show, and you'll see the significance of that as we go on. But first, you've got a pair of stories about a pair of stories about exorcisms, right? Or the tie-in to exorcism.
I do. So the Daily Mail is reporting that the NHS called in an exorcist after hospice staff complained of paranormal incidents, and they kept seeing a ghostly girl in a red dress. This was at a hospice in Norwich, and it used to be a children's hospital many, many years ago, but they requested the help of deliverance ministers to carry out a religious service using holy oil. So the sightings, occurred at Priscilla Bacon Lodge near Coleman Hospital, which has been used by the Norfolk Community Health and Care NHS Trust to provide specialist end-of-life care. But up until 1975, it was the site of the Jenny Lind Children's Hospital, and people are still believing that it's haunted by spirits. They said there's been a number of incidents, and somebody saw a small child in a red dress, and so the Telegraph found emails that in 2023, the hospice chaplain contacted the Diocese of Norwich to get support from the deliverance team. They said it was a difficult time at the site, and they requested some holy oil. So I thought that was interesting, and they were in conversation with the team, and a blessing of the building was carried out, but they denied that an exorcist ever visited the site in person. And they also refused to comment on what paranormal activity the patients and staff claimed to have seen.
I am a firm believer that this can be real and that there can be exorcism. Now, I think it's something you got to be really careful with because I think that sometimes things could be misassigned, and maybe somebody has issues or mental issues, or they think, they're possessed. Well, you got to be very careful of that. But do I think demon possession can happen? I believe evil is real, and I personally think it can. And I mean, the fact that the Catholic Church even has, a section committed to exorcism tells me at least they believe it's real, and that they should know. I mean, I think that a lot of people think that's really wild and superstitious, but I believe in it. Again, you got to be very careful because different things can manifest and make you think that. But when people are crawling up on the walls and things, and there have been documented cases, I mean, it's pretty wild
scary stuff. It's
very
scary stuff. Can you imagine? Yeah, I think I do. I think there are certain people that may have a disposition for that, or like they're open enough, and these evil spirits can kind of invade, or so to speak.
Yeah. I don't think it happens at the drop of a hat, and I don't think it's like what we see. I mean, I think, the paranormal TV shows,
but
the paranormal TV shows, everything's a demon, everything's a possession, and I don't believe that. But can it happen?
Everything's evil,
Yeah. Can it happen? I mean, I guess you have another story, kind of a corollary to that, a gentleman who definitely believed this stuff is real, right?
Well, yeah. So, Reverend Dr. Jason Bray, he's a deliverance minister for the Church of England. He does exorcisms, and he said he's seen enough to believe that ghosts are real. He regularly confronts hauntings and paranormal activity. He kind of threw a little joke in there. He said, but I have no idea why poltergeists keep throwing shoes. And he assumes, like, he gets kind of, as we were just talking about the movies, he's like, it's not like it is in the movies. I just don't burst in the homes and start, doing things
with waving around the cross.
Yeah. He's like, I don't do that. It's just very interesting. But so he just talked about how he does them, and so I don't know. I lost most of the article, but so he just talks about in the article, though, he just talks about like different, somebody called him in because he thought it was haunted. There was a cold spot. So he's been doing a lot of these in different places. He was in Wales, and he went in there, and so kind of, this article just talks about the different cases that he's seen. the physical disturbances or movements, so like poltergeist activity, and it was just very interesting. So, yeah. And sometimes he feels like maybe he didn't really do anything, but he said he offered enough support, and like, it might have like a psychological effect. At least they feel assured and they feel freed from whatever was haunting them. And he kind of ends it saying, there is a lot of evil in our world, but I fully believe that good will triumph eventually, which I believe too.
I like that. I like that very much. Something else I like is history. And, we don't think of it this way, I don't think, but when you're looking into the investigation of these different phenomena, be it UFOs, be it ghosts, whatever, that's why I think, the Conjuring House story is so big. It's kind of the history of the Warrens and all that, right? Well, cryptozoology, there's a history of Loch Ness, and there was recently a finding of an artifact. A Loch Ness monster hunting underwater camera was found and repaired after 56 years. This is from ScottishDailyExpress.co.uk. 6 underwater cameras deployed in the loch by Professor Roy Mackall in 1970. That's what was done. 3 were lost during a gale later that year, so they found this very rare example, and it was in this waterproof case, and it held up surprisingly well, and they've been able to restore it. And what blew my mind, Dar, did you get to see the picture of this?
I did.
It is like a little camera with one of those people of a certain age, our age, for example, will remember they used to have these things called on cameras when they were filmed. You would put it on the top, and they were disposable. And they were called flash cubes. And you would take a picture and it would flash and then it would rotate. And I think there were 4 on one flash cube. And you had to buy these things. They were expensive,
Yes, they were expensive. And then you had to throw them out when it would only give one flash.
Well, what amazed me, I would have thought like some high-tech 35 millimeter camera, Nikon or something. He was using a little Instamatic thing, and it had a little flash cube on top of it. It was hilarious.
It did.
It's pretty cool. And I guess they took it pretty seriously here. Following its transfer into the care of the Loch Ness Center, the camera has now been taken on by experts from the popular BBC show who carried out the delicate restoration work needed to return the camera to full working condition for the first time in decades. I'm trying to find the name of that show, The Repair Shop. So it must be one of these. Remember, there used to be one, I used to love it.
Oh, you loved that.
Rick something or other. It was on one of the cable channels, Rick's Restorations. I forget what he called it. But they would take something and they would restore it. It was always fascinating to me. I loved that show. Anyway, point being that they've done that with that camera, and I think that's very cool. Very, very cool indeed. And I think they were even able to develop the film that was in it, which is amazing. We're talking about 55 years old. I don't think they found anything, but I don't know. Just that was a good find, Dar. I really like that. I mean, I think sometimes we underestimate our field in terms of investigating these different phenomena, and I think aside from the results one way or the other, it's something that should be codified, something that should be recorded, and people should know what was done before to try to find the answers to these questions. So very cool story. Very
Correct.
cool story.
Just a piggyback off of that, there's a petition going around to try to save Loch Ness from industrialization. They want to make these huge pump storage hydro facilities near the Ness. They want wind farms nearby. They want to make it very industrial, and the people that live there and the people who are just interested in the loch, despite or in addition even to if there's creatures under it, they just don't. It's like you're ruining our land. They feel like it's a symbol of their indigenous cultural heritage, a sacred land. So there is a petition going out to try to stop this. You could go on change.org to sign it. They only have 995 verified signatures. They're trying to get at least 1,000. They just want to stop that industrialization to preserve that area. So if you're kind of interested in, I really wish we can just preserve some of our nature a little bit.
Well, that's the thing is I am for development. I am for development.
Yes,
I am for progress. I am for trying to make I'm a compassionate capitalist in my view. But I will say this. I think sometimes we're too quick to say, oh, there's some farmland. Let's make a huge site on it. Let's do these different things. We're seeing
Let's
that.
build all these mega mansions that.
Yeah. So we're seeing that. Let's tear everything down and build big developments. And the bad thing that happens, like, for example, I'll just say with some of the retail developments, something I've seen over the years, is they'll build a beautiful new gleaming retail center. And it'll last for about 20 years. And then it'll no longer be cool. And then the developers will go out 10 miles and build another one. And that's the cool thing. But meanwhile, this other one's dilapidated and falling into disrepair. I know why, because you don't make money redeveloping, you make money developing. So people are going for they want the blue sky. They want the flat ground. They don't have to, tear anything down. But I'd love to see some stuff redeveloped. We've seen this in Cleveland. We had a lot. I'll give you an example and then we'll get on to the next story. But we had a huge railroad terminal in our downtown. It was Terminal Tower, and that's where the trains used to go, from I think the late 20s up through the 60s or early 70s. And then
it kind of Amtrak through there?
It was before Amtrak. It was before Amtrak. Yeah, like New York Central and stuff, before the rail was nationalized. And that kind of just sat fallow for a couple decades. And then right around 89, 90, somewhere there, they made it a great shopping center. It was great. It was beautiful. It was gleaming Tower City Center.
It was the place to be, man.
And now
kind of revitalized downtown. It brought people back downtown.
Yeah. And now it's a ghost town.
It's a complete ghost town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how safe it is to go there.
Yeah, it's not very, I don't think it's very safe. It's very sad.
And there's not much there. The movie theater, I think, is still there. And it's
like, God bless them, but they're little entrepreneurs that, they really don't.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Anyway.
Yeah, very sad. Well, where I grew up, they just demolished the mall that I grew up with my whole life. And then it sat vacant, and then they were trying to make it storage units, and that didn't work. And I think now they're going to maybe build apartments. I don't know, but
mixed use retail, they call it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, this is a really interesting one to me because if you've followed my shows at any time at all, I feel that there are people with legitimate psychic gifts. We interviewed one of them this week, Jody Levon. She's fantastic. I highly recommend that episode. She talks about people have passed and how they can still help us. And people like Jody, they know what they're doing. I believe they have real gifts.
I had a great private reading with her
years
ago. Fantastic. So,
but on the other side of the coin, you have an interesting story. This has really nothing, by the way, this has nothing to do with Jody. Nothing.
Zero.
She's one of the good ones.
This was from The Guardian, and here's the title. I was probably just as lost as my callers. My 6 months as a telephone psychic. And Anna Stothard, she went into this whole article, and she starts it out by, I'm not psychic. During the 6 months I spent working as a telephone psychic, my only supernatural gift was the ability to sound fascinated by a stranger's love life at 2:17 a.m. But yet for hundreds of billable hours, I sat on my living room floor wearing plaid pajamas and a telemarketing headset, charging callers by the minute for insights into their lives. Perhaps this made me a con artist, but I wasn't a dangerous one. Well, I don't know how. I put this article in here, and she does go through and how she did read tarot. She wasn't like a spectacular tarot reader though. And basically what it says is basically she just went on there and felt that most people just wanted someone to listen. Almost like a therapist, really. It was so I kind of cringed at that part too, because I'm like, well, you don't really have any. I mean, it's great that as a human being you can listen. You shouldn't be offering any kind of advice unless you're credentialed. I mean, that would be like, I can go on there and I could offer a ton of advice. I have plenty, but I would never do that because I'm not, yeah, okay, I minored in psychology. That means nothing, right? Okay. But like, so she went on here and I felt like, wow, what a scam. And I put this article in this week because those of you that, are hungry for psychics to tell you something, please do your research. Please, please, please do your research and, try to find the legitimate people out there to give you a reading. Don't get on these. She said she answered an ad and they assured her in the ad that they will do a full background check, full thing. They did nothing. She said it was like a 2-minute process. Sign the forms, you're in. And it reminded me of many other things where they're just wanting you to be billable. Like how many clients can you get? It's just a scam. I did feel like, thank goodness she did come to her senses finally, and realize, you know what, I don't think I'm doing the right thing. But it took her a while. And I think it was this one case, somebody called in about trying to get pregnant. And I think it kind of jostled her a little bit. That was the one that made
her say, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a very good article, very interesting what she went through. I'm glad she kind of got to her senses and, but she says, when private therapy is out of most people's budgets, I offered strangers a few relatively inexpensive minutes of undivided attention, gentle validation, and a sense of guidance. Well, to me, that's scammy because you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, you're not a therapist.
Unless you say, I'm not a therapist. I don't know if she was qualifying that, but I think she was coming from somebody to talk as a psychic.
They wanted somebody to
talk to. And I felt bad. And I know there's so many people out there that do. Just my point of putting this article is be careful. So not every psychic is really a psychic. And she was not one, for sure.
On to a totally different subject. I love when we get these reports of different phenomena from credible people. And I'm a big fan of our military. And I anybody out there watching or listening who serve the country, or you have a family member who serve the country, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. This comes by way of the-express.com, and it's talking about an incident recently reported that happened in 2005 in Quantico, Virginia. And it specifically involves some Marines. This former Marine has revealed a bizarre encounter he had with what he thought was Bigfoot. Andrew Bird, he was conducting field training exercises at a mock urban facility off limits to civilians. And this report came to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. We've got to try to get Matt Moneymaker on the Paranormal Podcast. Right there. Can you please make a note of that? Matt Moneymaker. I'd love to get him on the show. Yes. Come on our show. So apparently, Mr. Bird and 2 fellow Marines received orders to leave the area and navigate through the forest to a particular point, about 500 to 700 meters away. And they heard a loud cracking noise and directed their flashlights toward the source. And they witnessed 2 trees next to each other bending towards one another, an act that would have taken tremendous strength.
Wow.
They looked up and they saw a large hairy creature with its back facing us, and they thought it was approximately 8 foot tall with brown or reddish brown hair. And they said it did not look, in terms of its movement or its proportions, like a human. Wow. And then they said they were running off to their pickup truck and they think the thing was following them, was giving chase.
Oh, no.
And Bird said, it has stayed with me for 20 years. I have never encountered anything before since that explains what we saw that night. Now, a lot of people think there's a supernatural component to Bigfoot, right? Well, interestingly enough, they said that they were getting strange compass readings earlier in the evening, just minutes before their potential encounter with Bigfoot. So you be the judge?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The minute I start to doubt the Bigfoot thing, I read a report like that. This guy has nothing to gain by this 20 years later. He was a Marine, and I believe that gives you a certain, in my book at least, it gives you a certain amount of credibility. Why even bother? Why even mention it?
Well, yeah, because you know what's going to happen in today's society. Anything that's out there, paranormal, You're crazy.
Yep.
You're a kook. You're a weirdo.
Yep.
And so that's what this guy is risking by saying that. Not, oh, good for you, or thanks for sharing. It's more like, you're nuts. So why, what's the motive for wanting to say that, because you're going to get that backlash from people. You're going to get that judgmental nastiness. So yeah, why not believe him? Because what's the motive, right? I mean.
Precisely.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, there you go. Jim, are you cynical?
Yeah, sometimes more than others. I'm feeling relatively cynical this morning, but
you guys don't know. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway.
No, I think you really want to say I'm the cynical one. So.
But I will say this. But I will say this. There may be a way to fight the cynicism. Maybe you just need to have your aura read, right?
Yeah, sure. Hey, why not? There's an article from Vogue UK talking about aura reading. And, aura reading is like interpreting the colors that a person will see surrounding you, right? And they actually use which I guess I'm kind of stupid. Well, hey, don't comment on that. I don't need that today. But I didn't know that they used like this, like a camera, right? It's attached to this box and it has wires and sensors. At least this author, that's how hers was read. And hers was, I guess, at the time when she was 25 and first had it read, it was purple. And Ms. Chan read her and says, "Oh, you're lucky right now, but be careful, all the space," because she had such a large, or she said too much absorption, other people's emotions, are going to get to you and you're going to be so tired, right? She doesn't remember if she was tired, but she went again when she was 26. And again, this time it was smaller, bluer, lots of empty space. And I guess it was interpreted as she was she was stressed. And she said. But, people who don't believe in this are like, why are you doing this? Because this is so stupid, right? There we go, that judgmental thing again. And her point in the article, I mean, she goes through about what happened, but she feels it reveals like a misunderstanding of what people really get from these readings, right?
Right.
And she feels that it can provide you a, like, quote, space to appraise your current situation and priorities. So maybe it's not giving you answers as much as it's letting you say, okay, why is this happening? Or why is my color? Am I stressed? Like what's going on in your life? It's giving you an opportunity to sit down and self-reflect, I think. So she's saying, don't just poo-poo it. Take it and maybe take that information and just kind of, what are your intentions in life, or what are you putting out there? Or, is there anything that you can do differently or live differently or adjust and control your feelings and emotions about things? So I don't know. I just thought I'd include it. I thought it was an interesting article because people right away, oh, she's having an aura weirdo.
Yeah.
No, I think she's right.
There's
I think it goes with
it.
horoscopes and tarot and everything. Maybe you get the answers, maybe you don't. But even if you don't get the answers, what was that telling you? Like, you should kind of reflect on it. Maybe ruminate over it, because you'll be surprised. Maybe the answers come to you without the cards telling you. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about, you had that reading a couple months ago, and you found it very useful.
It was extremely useful. And I will be honest, I'm a little torn by it, because at the time I was like, holy cow, I cannot believe all these people came to me. Oh my gosh, my mind was blown. Oh my gosh, my mom, my dad, all my friends. It was amazing to me. And now, everybody's got that little bit of skeptic in them too. So I'm going
absolutely.
back and I'm like, really? Was I throwing something out there, subconsciously that he was picking up on? But then I'm like, he knew facts that, how would he know? Because I'm not throwing out that my dad wasn't around a lot. I'm not throwing out he was in fact, I missed the whole truck driver thing. So I mean,
right.
So but it allowed me to go back and think about things, and think about my relationships with those people, and my living life better, different? Did I learn any lessons from all of that? So yes, that's where I go with that kind of thing.
But the other thing I'll say is that, and this is not to cast aspersions to people who 100% believe in everything all the time. I'm not casting aspersions. But I do think when you're an educated, intelligent person and you go into these situations, even if it's remarkable, you're still going to have some doubt. You're still going to have some doubt. As long as I've been doing the shows and as much as I do believe in this stuff, I have my moments of doubt. And am I wrong about the UFO thing? Am I wrong about the afterlife thing? Am I wrong about the ghost thing? Whatever it may be, I keep coming back to the answer of no, I don't think I'm wrong. But you do have those moments of doubt. But I will tell you this.
But wait, doubt?
Finish your thought.
I want to finish. That doubt allows you to grow as a human, because I really feel like it does let you think about things a little bit further. It's not just like accepting everything at face value. Right. Putting that doubt lets you ask questions. It lets you analyze things a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
I think it makes you more credible.
It does.
You more credible. Yeah.
I think it does. Everybody should do that with pretty much everything. You just kind of step back for a little bit.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Jim's
one of my favorite. Yeah, I always my girls. I almost like because I'll double check them. I used to double check them on things, and they'd be like, "I did that," and I'm like, "Trust but verify."
Did you really clean the garage? No, they never.
I haven't. I wish somebody would.
I can trust and verify that one.
Yeah, you can trust and verify. I have not cleaned the garage. Oh my gosh.
Well, how can you do it in the frozen tundra? We're gonna have. We have a big project this spring.
Yeah,
we can't travel.
But maybe not as big a project as some doctors had recently.
This is a story. That was a great segue.
Yeah.
Bravo.
So let me state that
He's got to preface this story.
We debated including this story. We used to do a show I did with a great Kate Botello quite a few years ago now called Weird News Radio. So it was all weird news stories.
And there are a lot of weird news stories.
This is a little more weird news than is paranormal.
A lot more weird news. I don't think anything about it. It was too good to pass up. If you get offended, just turn it off and come back next time. But okay. This is from, what is it? ibc.co.uk. And I'll just read you the headline. Or I'll read it with a little Maybe
tweak.
I won't take a sip because I don't want to have a
Shell-shocked. Hospital evacuated after doctors find unexploded World War I bomb lodged in man's place where the sun don't shine. There, I'll just put it there. The 37-millimeter brass and copper shell left the 24-year-old Frenchman in, quote, a state of extreme discomfort. So apparently this guy found an artillery shell from 1918.
Wow.
He must really be into history. And he decided...
Or history was into him.
He decided to insert it in a place that shouldn't happen. They set up a security perimeter, and they said the shell was declared safe with no risk to the public, according to Le Parisien. The man has not been named, and he's still recovering from the shell. But he could reportedly face charges for handling Category A munitions. It is currently not known why the 37-millimeter brass and copper shell was lodged in the man's anus, but he is set to be interviewed this week. So, sir, I have one question.
Why do you want to do these things?
I like this. They said that they often find these shells during the iron harvest.
Oh my God.
He had an iron harvest. They had to harvest it from him.
But why? I don't understand. I think I'm really old. I don't...
Why?
I could say stuff. I'm like,
there's so much we could say. There's so much we could say, and so much we shouldn't say.
Don't they make things specifically?
Oh no!
For
Don't
that?
Stop!
We don't have to.
He was just repurposing.
World War I artifacts.
He was repurposing. very green.
Oh, okay, stop. Oh, brother.
So, Bill, why were you in the hospital? Well, you'll never believe this one. No,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
whew,
yeah.
you know how they sell those things people sit on? Like if they have problems in that area, the donuts you sit
Donuts?
on?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to need a really big one.
That's great. That's great. You're getting on me. You're getting on me. Yeah. You really
well, he's
like
going to
that
be the
story.
butt of many jokes. There's no question about that.
Oh, brother.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of the show, but certainly we got to the,
The
bottom
very
of that
end.
one. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
God. Oh, my
The
Lord.
caboose, if you will.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we
if
ended
you were
the show with
sad,
a
that should
bang.
have, like, cheered up your day. Oh, my God. The puns never stop.
Well, actually, he's lucky he didn't end up the show in a bang. Oof. He would have been
Can you
there
imagine?
and there and there and there. And it was live. I mean, it had never been discharged.
Yeah. I don't understand. There are things I just don't understand.
Well, it was dark and it was late and he was alone.
Like I said, I
started
think
looking
they
at the mortar shell and said, "That looks pretty
manufacture
good."
items that could help you.
Stop that. Stop that. Don't
missiles.
talk about that. You've frozen. You froze for a minute.
I have frozen 3 times in the last 20 minutes,
well,
so.
it's to go with the weather, right?
Yeah, probably.
Fits perfectly. Well, if you haven't turned us off out of disgust already, get some merch. JimHarold.com/merch. And you can see the various and sundry offerings here as I'm showing them on the video, if you're watching on video. The hoodie, which actually I'm modeling today, you can see right there, the Jim Harold's Campfire hoodie. And then, Dar, you've got...
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got
Mine's
on...
a navy blue, but it looks black on camera.
Yeah, I
It's
can
navy
kind of
blue.
tell it's blue, but not much.
I love navy blue, so...
But
There you go.
yeah, we're doing everything we can.
I
to,
love these hoodies. I am like addicted to the hoodies
Yeah, you know,
now.
I just put this one on today for the first time, and I'm like, oh, that feels good. It feels good.
It is. It's just I
Yeah.
got it just slightly bigger because I like them really.
Yeah, I like something
them really
bulky.
loose.
Yep.
Yeah, nice and warm. Oh my God, it is very warm. I will tell you that much because I'm sweating in here, and normally I'm freezing. So yeah, just my 2 cents. You don't
Good stuff.
have to.
Good
but
stuff.
Yeah, it's good. I like
Well,
it.
we
So,
hope everybody checks it
hopefully
out.
you will too.
We hope everybody checks out our Plus Club, JimHarold.com/plus, and everything that we do. Actually, next
Monday night.
Yeah, I was going to mention events. Next Monday, we are at the Cuyahoga County Public Library. Which branch is that? Is that North Olmsted? Brook Park. Excuse me. Brook Park. Strike anything else from the record. That's Brook Park on Monday night. And then later in the
Close
month,
to the airport.
Yeah, and so you can fly right in. No,
Don't
but that one, the seats are really going. So if you want a seat at that, you better go register. I think we only have, and we're in a single digits of seats left, and that was one of their bigger rooms. So if you want to get into that, JimHarold.com/events, JimHarold.com/events. These two events are absolutely free, but you have to register first.
There you go.
And then we have one towards the end of the month, and it has a little more space. But we hope to see you there for an evening around the campfire, talking about different campfire stories.
There you go. Should be
no
fun.
munitions involved.
No. Good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun, family fun. Well, Dar, another week. We've done it again. And
Yes,
we hope everybody has a good week. And don't go hunting any artillery shells. And we'll talk to you next time. Have a great week. It's Paranormal Report. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay spooky.